everyone. Our topic for the symposium is Understanding Mediated Communication. This presentation was created by Rylie Mittel, Brandon Lowe, and myself, Brendan Mendoza. What is mediated communication? Mediated communication is when people communicate through any form of technology. This refers to things such as text messaging, FaceTime calls, phone calls, and even things such as writing or direct messaging on social media. Here's a list of some forms, as you can see, emails, phone calls, texting, video conferences slash calls. That's like your FaceTime and all that, and writing are all forms of mediated communication. There's two different types of media communication. There's synchronous, which happens in real time, such as the phone calls and FaceTime. That is a real time exchange of information in between two individuals, or sometimes more than that. I say something and they hear that, they respond to me. It happens just like that, like a normal conversation, just over technology. Asynchronous communication is an exchange of messages with a time lag. This is like text messaging and emails. I send out a message and they don't have to respond right then and there. They can respond at their convenience. If I say something in the middle of the night, I don't have to wake them up with a phone call, say something, they have to respond. I can send that message. They can respond when they wake up in the morning. That's just how asynchronous works. It's just one of the benefits of mediated communication. Uh, a lot of time people don't realize that there is a difference in between mediated communication and mass communication. Mediated communication refers to one-on-one or small group communication over technology. Like I said before, it's your text messages, your FaceTime, phone call, and your email. Mass communication refers to a large audience, such as a like TV news broadcast or social media. And another thing is like a podcast. I say my message or post what I want, and I don't necessarily expect a response from every recipient of that message. Media communication, I send out that text message. I usually expect a response with that. Mass communication, like I post on social media, not everyone's going to comment or respond to that post, and I know that putting that out there. Couple advantages of mediated communication. It allows us to communicate with people from other places. I can text a friend in Arizona or even a relative that's stationed overseas for military, per se. Also, when you text or email someone, your device keeps a record of those conversations, like your stored text messages or stored emails. That's good when, like, not only when you're talking business, but making plans. It keeps a record of those conversations if I ever need to look back on it. That's why businesses or like very busy people have secretaries for meetings and all that, just because it keeps a record of those conversations and I don't have to try and remember everything. So that's just another one of the small benefits of asynchronous communication. And once again, like I said previous, asynchronous communication, you can respond at your convenience. That's just a big help with it all. Uh, Media communication, it's done quite a bit for our society. It not only allows companies, but us as individuals to communicate with people across the world and be able to clearly interact. I could call a family member that's over in Europe or Asia, something like that, and have a clear conversation with them if I need to or want to. And that's also helped increase the amount of like people we keep close to us. We're friends now with people that we knew from high school and stuff that we wouldn't necessarily. I know I said earlier that like writing is a form of media communication, but I'm not necessarily going to sit down and take the time to write a letter to every person I knew from high school and send it out, wait for a response. I'm going to send a letter to my mom and dad and girlfriend or boyfriend. But media communication, it allows us to keep a close relationship with those people and be able to communicate with them pretty easily. But once again, it doesn't always have good things in our life. I feel personally that mediated communication has distracted us from some of our face-to-face relationships in life, just because we're always looking at our phone, texting people, whether it's either that or scrolling on social media to look at the mass communication, it's just sometimes we get distracted by that and put some of our face-to-face interactions on the back burner. Leading into that, talk about some of the disadvantages. We can misinterpret some of the non-vocal messages in our tone. Like, so if I'm texting someone, they can't necessarily pick up on sarcasm or something in a comment, and that could lead to some conflict in a relationship. Going back to where I was talking about how your phone keeps a record of your conversation, someone can take a picture of that record and use it if they feel the need to. So you just got to be careful with what you say on there because it's not always going to be confidential. Also, technological problems can eliminate the option of immediate communication, such as a power outage or a cell tower going down. So, you're not always going to have that option to communicate with people over a phone or a computer. So just keep that in mind. And also, nonverbal cues are a big part of uh, face-to-face conversations. So you just got to remember that when you're talking on the phone or texting, that you don't have those nonverbal cues. So some of your messaging can be lost within that. So just keep that in mind during mediated communication.
I'm Brandon Lowe, and this is misuses of mediated communication. Some examples of this would be online harassment or cyberbullying. This would be just insulting someone or messing up them online. It's still wrong, even though you're not face to face with this person. It could really affect someone. Um, Spreading misinformation or using communication tools to deceive others is also pretty wrong to do. This can lead to a lot of people just not knowing the right things and cause a lot of confusion amongst whoever you're trying to spread this miscommunication to or trying to deceive. Privacy violations is another example of how to misuse mediated communication. Um, this can be stalking someone. Uh, there was a big deal around when I was in middle school to high school about people hacking into the cameras on Chromebooks. That would be an example of it. It's very wrong to do, and you should respect people's privacy. How do you use mediated communication appropriately and effectively? You can do this by providing context. This is very important, especially due to, there's no real way of seeing context over messaging, especially online, because they're not there to see it. They're not there to see what's going on. Avoid using slang. It could just cause a lot of miscommunication, cause a lot of people to just not understand your message. Proofread, kind of same deal there. Just kind of, make sure what you're saying makes sense. Make sure you're getting the point that you want to get across. If using video communication, be mindful of your tone and body language. Don't sit here just dead as can be when like whispering or just completely dead toned because it doesn't help provide context or understand the message anymore. Prioritize having concise and clear messages. Kind of same deal as like proofreading and all that. It's just you want them to understand what you have to say. You don't want to complicate their life by having some just very massive communicate like very massive message that no one can understand the message of. It just results in a lot of miscommunication. Um, and that is overall how to use mediated communication appropriately and effectively. Thank you for listening. Really appreciate it.